Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
Yes. Yes, we are. God damn.
Domina has the best design out of the 5. Anra's design is pretty basic, which makes sense because she's related to Wu Yang, another Overwatch character with a basic ass design. Mizuki's design looked pretty interesting in the concept art, but I don't think it translated to the final game very well. And Eminem's design is just okay. I think I like his digitized form better. I'm also kinda surprised that it took them this long to add another Call of Duty adjacent character to the game. And then we have Jetpack Cat. Now let me be clear. I like jetpacks. I also like cats. This should appeal to me. But I don't know. This doesn't feel like it entirely fits the game to me. This feels more like a first draft in the creation of an Overwatch character as opposed to something that is actually finalized. Their justification for this was that there's a scientist gorilla and mechanist hamster in a game, so a jetpack riding cat just makes sense. But honestly, I just think from a design standpoint alone, Winston and Wrecking Ball have a lot more going on. And unlike those characters, this one doesn't seem to have much going on in terms of personality outside of just being a cat. This one just feels less inspired. And the name Jetpack Cat really isn't helping. I don't know, they could have named her Carl or Anna Marie, Daisy, Petunia, something. Right now, this character just feels like they threw two random things together and didn't even really try. Which is pretty much how I feel about this batch of new characters. Like, they didn't really try. They don't feel like strong Overwatch characters with a sense of personality to me. This definitely feels like a case of quantity over quality. But Domina does appear to be making a good impression on some people, and people are really eating up this cat. So I'm glad that someone's vibing with this. And I'll say one positive thing about the Jetpack Kitty. I like that she can literally carry her teammates. That's fun, that's funny, that's cute. I like that. Aside from these 5 characters, the other big announcement was that Overwatch 2 will officially be going the way of HBO Max, and finally reverting that ridiculous name change. It's kind of embarrassing to watch them walk this back, but I do ultimately think that this is the right decision. It's just happening way too late. They should have dropped the 2 way back when they canceled PvP content, because that was the entire reason that they called it Overwatch 2. Now they're just doing it years later as a marketing strategy, clearly trying to rebrand. I also don't like them framing this name change as them realizing that the experience of Overwatch transcends a number, or what did they say?
We realized Overwatch is a game that transcends any single number. So moving forward, we're dropping the 2 and continuing simply as Overwatch.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Get the fuck out of here. You didn't realize anything. Everyone has been saying for years that Overwatch 2 wasn't worthy of the title. And 6 years later, it is ultimately the same game. So I would have respected them a lot more if they just admitted that calling it Overwatch 2 was a mistake, instead of trying to act like Overwatch itself is too good for a sequel. You guys never made a sequel, but you tried to act like you did. That was the problem. But Ramatra is finally getting a dance, so all is forgiven.
It's the only one to get your hand-me-down. Everybody at the party playing those down. Weird playing here around. Certified lover boy, certified